Billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. I got that fix. Here we go. Yeah, so today, man, we're gonna talk about, man, it's so crazy because, you know, these Democrats just came out with this video, and now it was a shooting that happened in D.C., close to the White House. 2 ICE officers got hit, allegedly. I think, well, it's not allegedly. They got shot. I believe it was in the head. They're in critical condition as of right now. But it's just so crazy how they talk about Donald Trump's rhetoric. And they go on all of these news stations and talk like Donald Trump is this bad guy and he is wishing death on people when he's not. But these people truly are subliminally wishing death on people. They you know, when they call Trump a fascist and a Nazi and compare him to Hitler and those like him, that's rhetoric that has people going out here doing the things that they're doing. When have we ever heard of ICE officers being shot in the street, bro? We haven't. Because this is only happening because Democrats are out here lying on legacy media against Trump, against his administration, and this is the outcome. Like, what do they truly think is going to happen when you say the things that these Democrats say about Trump, his administration, ICE? ICE been doing what ICE does for years. This ICE is not a new department. They've been around. They've been doing the same things. They did the same things under Joe Biden. They did the same things, no, maybe not under Joe Biden because they was letting all immigrants in. But under Obama, they were doing the same thing. Now they want to act like, they're doing something new. The same thing with them being masked up. Regular police get masked up. SWAT team masked up when they go on operations and do raids and things like that. This is nothing new. But they want to make it like it's a new thing in America, that Trump is doing something that's unknown, never been heard of. And, they just say a bunch of bullshit. So it's crazy, man. So another ICE shooting, because remember, one just happened, but they hit the immigrant, I believe, in Texas. So this is the second ICE shooting. They protesting all over. They all paid to be there. This is not organic, bro. And the thing is, bro, when you do this stuff that the Democrats are doing, they know the outcome. Come on, man. They know the outcome. They know how to rile people up. Think about it. All the BLM stuff, all the chaos that's going on is because of Democrats. And this is why I dislike the Democrats today. You know, this is why I get on here and I talk about the things I do, because people need to wake up to what's going on. These people are treacherous, bro. They do not care whatsoever about you. Now, another person who was manipulated, gaslit, went out here, shot 2 ICE officers. He's in custody. He's never coming home. All because he was manipulated by the rhetoric of the left. It's that simple. So we're going to get into that. Also on another note, said the quality. On another note, we're going to tap in with Brian Maxwell. He's going over this whole Fani Willis case. RJ talks about it, but we're going to tap in with Brian Maxwell on that. He's going to talk about Fani Willis. The case against Donald Trump has been dropped. Every day, Trump is just winning And for me, I look at this because I know a lot of this stuff, all of it pretty much is lies against Donald Trump. And so it's not shocking that he's winning. You know what I'm saying? You got these Democrat judges who pretty much find him guilty. Then it goes into the appellate division, which that's just how it is in the judicial system anyway. I see a lot of people lose, come back on appeal, win, give time back, all of that stuff. I've seen that firsthand. So that's pretty much how the judicial system works. Unfortunately, most of the time you get found guilty. But, you know, we'll get into the details with Brian Maxwell about that. And then RJ talks, what's happening with him. He talks about Trump stopping aid to South Africa for things that they've been doing. We'll get into that. He also goes into more on, I believe, the whole Seditious 6 video and all of that stuff. So let's get into it, man. This is about the D.C. shooting. We're going to tap in with the 5. Jesse Waters and them on the 5 about this. This stuff is crazy, bro. Just seeing this, what's going on, and how just all the chaos, man. It's just crazy, man. But before we start, man, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button, comment down below. If you agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. I appreciate the comments. Also, subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. Make sure you hit all. Appreciate you. Let's get into this first video.
With you. I'm sorry, guys. I know we're having some communication. I can hear you loud and clear, guys.
Great.
Moments ago, we heard from the FBI Director Kash Patel, who said this was a targeted attack on 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard who were serving in the nation's capital as part of the mission to clean up D.C. This is a mission that has been underway for several months. We have seen Guards members come from all over the country at their governor's orders to deploy these resources, and officials are calling this a targeted attack. Moments ago, we heard from D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, who said this was horrific, that they're deploying all of the resources that she has at her disposal. But what was also very clear about this is that this person appeared to have acted alone, that this wasn't a multiple group attack, but instead one person who was taken into custody but also was shot. No indication yet what the weapon was that was being used in this attack. But there's also been a lot of confusion, Jessica, about the condition of these 2 National Guards members. If you've been watching Fox all afternoon like the other media outlets, we reported the news of the governor of West Virginia, Patrick Morrisey, who had said that those Guard members have died. He then retracted that statement on social media, saying he too was getting conflicting information. In a breaking news story, of course, that's to be expected here, but we also noticed in the news conference from moments ago that they did not address specifically the conditions of those 2 service members, but also to mention that the suspect was taken. President Trump has been very active on social media talking about this attack. I was just reading one of his most recent posts in which he said, and this is where I do it in real time for you here, he basically put up and said, that this was a horrific attack, that this animal would be brought to justice, and that he would make sure that the full resources of the federal government would ensure that justice is served. We're also hearing, Jessica, from the entire congressional delegations from all over the country. They're offering their prayers and support, but it has been quite controversial to have these National Guard members in D.C. So far, the lawmakers that I've seen on social media offering statements have instead putting the thoughts and prayers for those that were injured.
Oh, my bad. I apologize. It was the National Guard. I'm sorry. So it wasn't ICE officers, it was the National Guard officers that was in D.C. that came out there when Trump had them come out there to clean up the crime and all that stuff in D.C. My bad, I got that wrong. I'm tripping. So 2 National Guard members. So it's the military, pretty much. It's the military. People taking shots at it. It's crazy, bro. So just imagine if they try to go and clean up Chicago, and, you know, which we know Chicago is got a lot going on. It definitely needs it, but if they go out there, it's going to be even worse. All of this, bro.
And not focusing on the controversy of this service to begin with. We are also waiting to see if we'll get any update from the D.C. hospitals about the conditions. We've been trying to piece together where these service members were taken. The shooting happened just about 2 blocks away from where I'm standing, about 2:45 this afternoon. It was the Farragut West Metro stop. That is a station that has 3 different train lines. Normally, on a weekday, you can imagine right near the White House, it would be packed, but because it's a holiday, foot traffic was not nearly as crowded. But there were people who witnessed this, and also from the buildings above. I heard from a source who was able to send me some of the photos from what they could see from their vantage point from up high, and all you could see was a sea of shattered glass because of the amount of gunfire that was exchanged, not only between this gunman who took down these two service members, but also the responding officers, the responding National Guard members that were able to get this person into custody. In terms of motive, we do not know yet, except again that they're calling this targeted. They are making it indicative that this was not something that was complete.
Come on, bro. We know. You know, the Democrats going to try to get out there and say this has nothing to do with the Democratic Party. We don't condone this at all. But everything that they say, everything that they do, like, what do you expect to happen, bro? And then think about, their whole base is, just think about it. Now, with the Charlie Kirk situation, I don't know about that one. I'm kind of conflicted on it. That seems like a hit. Charlie Kirk situation seemed like a hit. Seemed like it was more than a layman, hopping on the roof and taking a shot. I don't, but that's another story. This, we have seen stuff like this. But, bro, this stuff only happens in America, bro. Only in America, dog.
Completely random, but we don't have that motive yet or an idea of what necessarily all the charges that person will eventually face.
Bro, they've been bitching about Trump bringing the National Guard into Chicago and other cities to clean up the crime, and they've been doing nothing but bitching about it, calling it unlawful, that, this is illegal. And what do you think is going to happen when everything you say against Donald Trump is negative, bro?
When they get out of the hospital. Jessica?
Yes, so we have some sound from J.D. Vance from a little while ago that I'd love to play.
Bro.
It's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America. And as a person who goes into work every single day in that building and knows that there are a lot of people who wear the uniform of the United States Army, let me just say very personally, thank them for what they're doing. We're grateful to them, and we're praying that they're going to be safe and they're going to spend Thanksgiving with their families. God bless them.
So that was exactly the right sentiment. It was good to hear from the vice president, and you see that being echoed from members of both parties and the various delegations. Mark, what did you make of what J.D. Vance said?
Absolutely. The vice president taking time as he was actually on the ground at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, to thank service members for what they're doing, taking the chance to pay his respects and thanks to those service members that are out there. And Jessica, I think the other caveat to all this is that this is not going to deter the Trump administration, they say, from continuing this mission of trying to clean up and send a message that the nation's capital will be protected. Secretary Hegseth saying today that they're going to send even more resources to make sure that people know that D.C. is going to be cleaned up and that these attacks on service members will not be tolerated. How quickly we'll see those additional deployments, we just don't know yet. D.C.'s Mayor Muriel Bowser, who we heard from at the news conference, has had to walk a fine line here from supporting cleaning up the effort to clean up D.C., but also whether or not people will actually want to see the National Guard troops on the streets of D.C. She just announced yesterday, Jessica, she's not.
If there wasn't a lot of crime, Trump wouldn't be in your city. If there wasn't a lot of bullshit going on in these cities, Trump wouldn't be trying to send National Guard troops into these cities. Point blank, period. When Trump said that basically like the enemy is within, talking about it's an enemy within the government, these Democrats, they are the enemy, bro. They are the enemy. If you look at all of the things that these people are doing, you're an enemy of this country, bro. Period. Anytime that, anybody for that matter, is just getting shot over politics, bro, over words. That words do have power, though. And because of the words of the Democratic Party, they got people randomly just walking up on National Guard officers, military, shooting at them. That's wild, bro. That's wild as hell. Just all of this stuff just going on in America right now. It's crazy times, bro. Every week there's something new, bro. This stuff is crazy, bro. Mass school shootings, people just walking into Walmart, shooting at people, just crazy stuff. And my thing is, you don't know whether it's these people are just crazy or they paid because we know that it's a big effort to take guns out of people's homes because they want control, bro. The government, I don't like the government for a lot of reasons, right? I believe that there's good people within inside of the government that actually want to serve the people, but there's a lot of agendas to have mass control over every state, every person within the United States. That's the biggest goal. We heard about the New World Order and all of these things all the time, all the conspiracies and things. I don't think a lot of it is conspiracy. I think it's truth that they put out there in the open for you to know. So when it happens, it's not unexpected. It's a game, bro. It's a game. And we in the motherfucking game, unfortunately. And it's scary times to be in America, to be honest. And it sound, people would be like, oh, you're exaggerating. But it's not. It's not, bro. It's not a game right now, bro. People, you just don't know what can happen anytime. They don't let so many terrorist type of people into the country. You know what I mean? You don't know who is who, where they at, what state they in, or nothing. And this is why you have random acts of violence all the time. And you're seeing a lot of these people be just illegal immigrants and stuff like that. Just, it's crazy, bro. That's why I say you don't know whether it's just a loony motherfucker or these people are paid. Because, bro, if you think people get or blackmail or forced to do things, that's what I was telling somebody about. Bro, you think, you may have some nutballs who throwing the bomb on their chest and say Allahu Akbar and go blow themselves up. A lot of them people are forced to do that. You know what I mean? It's not like everybody's, oh, let me get a bomb. Let me get one too. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, no, them people, no. People get threatened. I will kill your family. And people do it out of fear of their family getting killed. You know what I mean? It's called extremists. So when people think that people are voluntarily throwing on vests like, I'm ready. Come on, bro. It's a joke, bro. People be forced to do some of these things out of fear for their families or whatever the case may be, bro. It's a lot that goes into this stuff. You don't be knowing what it is, though. That's the scary part, is that it's just random shit. Man, they shooting at the military now.
Not even going to run for re-election. It's been quite a controversial year here in D.C. But across the aisle, from House members, senators, we are seeing thoughts and prayers pour in for these people that have put their lives on the lines to protect the nation's capital.
So, Jessica. Mark, let me ask you, when you walk around D.C., is it pretty understood where the cops are, Border Patrol agents, and where the National Guard is? For example, do they have similar assignments, or are they just randomly walking beats?
I spot the National Guard all throughout D.C. You'll also see them wearing HSI vests, like high security incident, people that you could tell are directed just to help out with this federal mission. I saw them last time I saw them was on Sunday evening. I live near H Street, which is kind of a popular corridor here in D.C. Around 5 o'clock, I saw 3 of them walking. I even thanked them for their service because there's been all these questions about how long this will go on for. They're away from their families on a holiday weekend. But you do, if you are in a high traffic area of D.C., H Street, metro stations, Union Station, which is our big train station here, you will see them. Right when the deployments happened, we saw a number of protests. We saw a very small amount of people that would say they were going to bang pots and pans and say, we don't want you here. I haven't seen that lately. Instead, D.C. residents, and again, I am one of them, have come to terms to accept that these people are here to do a job to protect the rest of us. And obviously, these people are not going to be going away anytime soon. Whether we see additional changes to their security posture, do we see, Brian, people with more weapons? We don't know yet, but they're going to see a surge of additional troops coming from, I imagine, not just West Virginia, but all across the country. Brian.
I guess, 500 more.
Crazy,
Yep. Mark, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anyway, man, we'll probably get more of an update tomorrow on this DC shooting, man. This shit getting wicked out here, bro. It's already wicked, man. We live in a wicked world, unfortunately, but that's why you gotta stay prayed up, man. It's crazy, man. They shooting at the military now. That's shooting at a regular officer is crazy. But when you start shooting at the military, just think about it, man. That's somebody's. That's what I was saying in the last video about, no matter what, bro, whether you disagree with policies or whatever, it's when elections come up, it's their job to make the other side look like they're unqualified? Do they take stuff far, go personal and stuff like that? In some cases, is useful. It's not that bad, you know, to put out somebody's dirty laundry if they did something that's, you know, people should know about it, right? But this stuff, calling Trump a not, bro, Hitler killed like 17 million people. To call Donald Trump a Nazi is crazy. Let's be honest. So when you convince the American people, like, yo, he really is. And then you say stuff like, the people don't understand how powerful we understand, it's logical. You know, like, words are powerful. So when you say we have to stop Donald Trump at all cost, them few words right there have people thinking, yo, we really got to do something. Because if not, like, it's over. He's going to be a king, or he's going to be this and that. So then you have people doing wild stuff, like taking a shot at him. Just random acts of violence, bro. But this is what they want, bro. They want the chaos. It's so much, it's crazy how divided we are. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like that in some ways in other countries. But America got to be the most divided country on the planet, bro. It has to be, bro. It has to be. Because the stuff that be happening over here, bro, is crazy. Especially when when you got people going into, you know, churches killing old people and schools killing children. That's wicked. Just think about the mindset that you have to have in order to even do things like this. You gotta be off the grid, for real. It's crazy. Anyway, let's get into this next story.
All right, Mr. Miller, what should happen to the seditious six?
Well, they should be held accountable under the law and under the Uniform Code of Military Justice for a seditious conspiracy against the United States of America. This is completely open and shut, straightforward. What is the motivation? Why would 6 members of Congress, selecting specifically for individuals with a CIA or military background, record a carefully written, carefully produced, slickly edited video messaging directly to members of our clandestine services and our armed forces, telling them to disobey orders from their superiors, telling them that they should individually determine whether an order is legal or illegal and defy it. Individuals who are exercising life and death powers. For what purpose would you ever deliver this message? As you said, it's to create a color revolution.
And it's something that's never been done, bro. This is how you know this stuff is getting out of control with this politics shit. This has never been done before.
It is the CIA playbook for trying to foment insurrection from within the military and within the CIA.
It's John Brennan, says General Michael Flynn. General Flynn confirming this morning that he knows for a fact that former CIA Director John Brennan orchestrated all of this, the entire Seditious Six plot, that he's been colluding with members inside and outside of government to undermine this country, that Brennan works with this small group of rogue intel officials from CIA who possibly wrote the script that the Seditious Six used in that social media video. But the plot went sideways, he says. It was actually intended to be used as a predicate for a future Trump impeachment when they take back Congress next year, but instead, it backfired.
John Brennan, who's the culprit? Like, who's behind it? Who's the operational commander running the color revolution? This coup d'état that is continuing to on-go here against the United States of America.
I don't know who this dude is, but he looks serious. He look like if you come trying to run up on him, he gonna kill you quickly and quietly. This nigga, he looked like he part of some type of military background, CIA or something. He looked like he been around.
The guy who's at the head of it is John Brennan. And John Brennan, and I hope he's listening because he listens. I know he does. He knows exactly. Sometimes when I put stuff out, I get all kinds of hate mail, right, from different people. Yeah, with his shit-eating grin. President Trump actually could and should bring this guy in immediately. Put him under the lights and have him answer questions about what he's been doing. Now, let me tell you what I know that he's been doing, okay? John Brennan has been colluding with with people inside of our government. Okay, what I just said is very damaging and very damning. So inside of our government, he's been colluding with people outside of the government that that recently served in our government to undermine not only President Donald J. Trump, but to undermine the United States of America.
Did you consider
Democrats now?
Yo, he said, I know for a fact. Yo, I gotta look more into this. This is crazy. Yo, bro, I ain't surprised though. I'm telling you, bro, when these people realized they couldn't control Trump like they did Obama, like they did Joe Biden and George Bush and all of these presidents, bro, you really think about it, bro. I mean, I could be wrong. Haven't followed politics all my life or nothing like that. So I could be wrong about this. But we got a little chat. Mariana Barlin, I hope I said that right. General Michael Flynn, Brennan converted to Islam, by the way. Oh, yeah? Yeah, well, I don't like it. I'm Muslim, but I don't like extreme Muslims at all. So that sounds a little extreme. But, thanks for the chat. I really appreciate it. Look into that, though. Some good information. But, bro, these people, I said this already, they will do anything. Anything. These are vicious people, bro. The government in general is wicked, bro. Everything in life has pros and cons to it, but there's a lot of wicked shit within the government, bro. You know what I mean? Like that it's classified shit that we would never get to know. Trust me. They can sit here and say they'll declassify shit all day long. Yeah, it might be declassified, but that shit's gonna be marked up like a motherfucker. They ain't giving us they're not gonna give you things that are gonna pretty much tell you what you already know. Let's say that much. Because there's a lot of this stuff people know. People talk about it. There's people that are, ex-CIA and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to look them up. I appreciate that, for real. These people are evil, bro. And they got agendas. I don't know, bro. It's not America first. I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's individual agendas, or these people be locked in with foreign countries and stuff, bro. I don't put nothing past these people. That's what I was saying. I've never seen them go so hard against a president, bro. Have you? If I could be wrong, tell me so I can look into it. Because I never seen them go this hard. Bro, they talk about Trump, everything. These people don't talk about policy. Really think about it. They don't talk about solutions, policy, legislation. They don't talk about nothing but Donald Trump. Trumpity Trump. That's it, bro. They hate this man, bro. And me personally, the way I'm looking at it is they hate him because he's not a puppet. He's not going to go with the flow. He really cares about America. In my eyes, I believe Trump truly cares about America. He understands he's at the ladder of his life. He probably did bad shit. We all have done some bad shit, but I think he's trying to make shit right. And honestly, I just really think he cares about the country. Go back to the 80s. He's talked about the same things the things that he became president again for. He talked about in the 80s how foreign countries been taking advantage of us and things like that. So it's not like nothing new. The corruption and all of that, they've been knew that. They've been knew these politicians are corrupt and they've been doing a whole bunch of backdoor shady shit. It's just now they went too far with a lot of this stuff. And then Trump got back in. He did some historical shit, got back in the office, and now they're really mad. Because now, see, I keep saying this, Trump wasn't a politician. Now you can say he is. He had 4 years, he was the president for 4 years, learned so much, seen who is who's the, the people that are the snakes and all of this stuff, people that he could possibly trust. Then he lost the election, or they stole the election, right? However you want to say it. I say stole, you might say he lost, cool, whatever. He lost 4 years. Now he ran again. You think Donald Trump is a winner at heart, at everything. And so you think that this dude didn't have 8 years to see who is who, what is what, see how things function, learn about, so much. Now, bro, this is why every time you turn around, Trump is winning. You know what I mean? Because he built a stronger team, of people that he could trust, because you do gotta trust. Why wouldn't you? When they say that, oh, he got his loyalists, why wouldn't you want people around you that you can trust? Like, that's like just smart. That's called being smart. I don't want people around me I can't trust. What are you talking about? I love Trump. Invited Prince of Saudi Arabia to White House. Trump, like me, was a Democrat. Right. Me too. We all were. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a Republican, but I am a conservative for sure. But yeah, facts. Donald Trump was a Democrat. Then he flipped, went to the Republican route, because he started seeing, bro, you can't tell me Donald Trump has donated to these people. He's been a donor. He's gave money to campaigns and all types of stuff. Donald Trump knew. He's in that world. I wouldn't say he was political. He was more just a businessman, but he was in that realm still. Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro. And that's what made me look into stuff. Because I'm like, yo, why do they hate this nigga so much? And then you see all of these people, right, online with podcasts like myself, small and big, and the stuff that they be saying, I be like, yo, that's a lie. It's no way nobody believes this. But people do, bro. People be believing shit people be saying, bro. And that's the scary part, man, is that you could just lie, bro. And then if I'm wrong, look, is it true that, because I heard this, I didn't look it up, but is it true that that Barack Obama created some type of law or some type of legislation or something that you can basically like news outlets can push propaganda and stuff like that? If that's true, just think about that in itself. So that means that's why it's not surprising seeing these news outlets push propaganda that they know. Come on, bro. Bro. This is wicked, bro. This shit is wicked. I was about to get into some whole other shit. I ain't even going to go there with it. But anyway.
Oh, these members screwed the pooch. They messed up bigly when they made that video, and now they need to have their leader, Minority Leader Jeffries, bail them out. Hakeem Jeffries coming out today and telling these 6 representatives to ignore the FBI, ignore DOJ, do not cooperate with this investigation.
As a Democratic leader, do you believe your members should sit for interviews with the FBI?
Team Obama. This nigga's a clown.
There's no basis to this FBI investigation unless the FBI actually presents credible evidence as to why they are seeking to interview these 4 members of the House and 2 members of the Senate. Then I think we have to look at this whole request skeptically again. It was Donald Trump who ordered the FBI.
Okay, okay, yes, I was right. All right, true. I'm gonna look into that.
And the Department of Justice to investigate these members. He accused them of treason. He threatened them with death. And so it's not clear why we should take this investigation credibly. This is not something where the FBI is trying to follow the facts, apply the law, and be guided by the Constitution.
Why are they being instructed to not sit for an official FBI interview? Plead the fifth. Don't answer any questions under any circumstances, because there's more to this. And just like what happened during Trump 1.0, how Comey used the FBI to interview Trump aides, entrapped them, lying to the FBI, it's a felony. Remember all the indictments that came in 2017? They entrapped Michael Flynn, so many others, with simple FBI interviews. The White House officially warning that a rogue element inside the CIA are still attempting to trigger a soft coup to remove.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Allowing news sources to report opinions and not facts, and pretty much get away with it. Guess I'm your auntie on here. Yeah, I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for locking in too. Now, for real though, listen, man, I don't know it all, bro. I'm a student of knowledge, so I'll be talking about issues. I got my opinions, of course, but I don't know everything, so I'll be learning too. That's why when I tell people to comment, whether you disagree or agree, I'm willing to learn. If I'm wrong about something, I'm wrong about it, and I can admit it. But at the end of the day, this is stuff we need to talk about, because yes, this stuff is a game, but it's a serious game, and we in it. And people are out here blindly voting off of dumb shit. They got people voting off of, my body, my choice, and LGBTQ stuff and all of this stuff. Like, bro, it don't matter. But they play on people's, emotions, bro. And these people are very intelligent, bro. Very intelligent, bro. These people know what they be doing.
Trump from office, and all of it started, they say, with this video. Conservatives now calling for all communications to be subpoenaed after Ruben Gallego reveals accidentally how a seditious script was sent out for this video, that he received a copy of this script. He was supposed to partake in this video, but he says he didn't have the time, or more likely his team told him, as a former Marine, Senator, you can't participate in this. You can't read this script. It's illegal.
Why were you not part of this video?
Yeah, actually, so I was part of the first video. The second video is by the time the script got to me and it was in the middle of a lot was going on, I just didn't have time to actually record it, but I'm 100% in alignment with them altogether. This stuff happened. You know, it just happened not to...
Man, these people love TV time. They love being in the spotlight for anything. He ain't had the time. I bet you didn't. Nobody even know who this dude is. Like, what?
Being a recording. There's really no other 3D chess to this.
The logistics of human life.
Yeah,
what is your level of trust in the U.S. military justice system, if it were to get that far, to handle this?
I trust them actually a lot, and for a couple reasons. Number one, these are professionals. They are also swearing to the Constitution of the United States. They know that there will be fallout and consequences if they are used in a hard way to basically railroad someone like Senator Kelly, because Donald Trump's going to be gone a couple years. And if you're part of the military that is going after sitting senators, sitting members of Congress, and part of, the weaponization of government, there will be consequences.
Bro, every time I hear them say weaponization of government, it's a joke, bro. Like, bro, these dudes literally went after Donald Trump. After he could have literally went after Hillary. He could have went after Hillary. He had every right to. He could have. We know he could have. This is why Donald Trump should take the gloves off. Well, I think Donald Trump is there already. We've seen him say, kill the filibuster. He's ready to stop playing games with these people. He said, basically, the Republican Party need to grow a sack and a backbone, and we need to get stuff done. And I don't know why, bro, but it just seems like these people have so much, like, they got pull everywhere. You see Comey and Letitia James, even though that case ain't over, them cases aren't over, but we just see the potential power that these people truly have in these courts and more. And nephew, I'm a Philly guy in Colorado for 15 years. Yeah, I'm just crazy. I'm from Camden. I live down the highway. But yeah, I'm from South Jersey, so I'm right there. I know, go to Philly all the time. You're in Colorado. You like it better out there? Yeah, I bet he is a snake. A lot of them are snakes, bro. And listen, bro, I try to keep a little balance, even though I align more with conservative values, because when they start doing all of this women and men's sports, and you miss me with that. I can't align myself with that at all, and all of them align themselves with them values, at least politically they do, and they're out in the open with it. And I can't align with that. So, they was giving abortions outside of the DNC. I can't get jiggy with that. You know what I mean? So they out of control, to be honest with you. And a lot of these people it's Republicans too. We ain't going to sit here and act like there ain't no snakes on the Republican Party too. They definitely got snakes in there too. The politics is vicious. My thing is, we just need to, I feel like the only way things get back to somewhat normal is especially if Democrats don't get back in power. That's number one. But we need to just, I don't know, it just need to be certain laws that need to be put in place, I guess. I don't know. It's just getting out of control, to be honest with you. Did you know that the CD4KI project buys crypto wallets at a very high price? I bet they do. I'm an Eagles fan. They just blew my shit. In that Dallas game. We ain't gonna get into that. I'm getting off topic.
Without a doubt. So, I think there's going to be a lot of officers that are going to be part of this, potential tribunal, if they want to call that. They're going to be looking over their shoulders because they know that Donald Trump will be gone and they will not have that protection. They're going to have to do the safest thing possible, which is follow the Constitution of the United States
In another story, President Trump cutting off the country of South Africa today, ending all U.S. foreign aid to this country immediately. Good riddance. Last year alone, we sent around $500 million in aid to South Africa. Trump saying he's doing this because of the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners. To put it more bluntly, he says, because they're killing white people. Writing on X, the U.S. did not attend the G20 in South Africa because the South African government refuses to acknowledge or address the horrific human rights abuses endured by Afrikaners and other descendants of Dutch, French, and German settlers. To put it more bluntly, they're killing white people and randomly allowing their farms to be taken from them. Perhaps worst of all, the soon-to-be out-of-business New York Times and the fake news media won't issue a word against this genocide. That's why all the liars and pretenders of the radical left media are going out of business. Therefore, at my direction, South Africa will not be receiving an invite to the 2026 G20, which will be hosted in Miami, Florida next year. South Africa has demonstrated to the world they are not a country worthy of membership anywhere, and we are going to stop all payments and subsidies to them effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now,
yeah, so he's going to get into more details about this, but basically Trump is stopping, yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that, bro. This racial stuff is out of control. I just seen a video earlier where a chick on Anton Daniels, he had a short, shout out to Anton Daniels. He played a short where a girl basically was saying how white people need to feel sad and about what their ancestors did to black people and they deserve bruh. Yo, they getting out of control, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But think about it. Who is pushing racial ideology in America the most? Democrats. Big facts. And they gonna keep doing it because it works. That's how you keep these, unfortunately, bro, our people are emotional people. And that's all it takes most of the time, man. A lot of people are waking up, though. This past election, a lot of black people are waking up and voted for Trump and understand that they are continuing to be lied to on a regular basis. And this is a fact. They're going to keep pushing racial ideology, and then they align themselves with anything that plays victim. So the trans community, they play victim because they for some reason they think people care about them so much, even though they don't, right? But anybody that is willing to have a victim mindset, the Democrats align with because they're more controllable. They don't like conservative people because conservative people have values and principles and standards, and they actually critically think when in anything. That's why when you see rallies, right? If you have a Democratic rally and a Republican rally and you have people outside protesting, you'll see Democrats, they have done this. Democrats acting all crazy, doing the most. If you got a Trump shirt on, like I seen this guy, I forget his name, but he a little YouTuber or whatever. He had a Trump shirt on and a Biden shirt under. He went over to the Democratic side with the Trump shirt on. They was about ready to slice his throat. If they all had guns, they would have killed him. He went over to the Republican side and they were laughing. They didn't care. So it just goes to show you the mindset. And it's a small experiment, but it says so much. It says volumes, to be honest with you. And these people are crazy, bro. But anyway, back on topic. These people are basically killing white farmers. They came to the White House, and he's going to show this, and we're trying to make it seem like, people need to listen to us. Bro, y'all been shitting on your own country for all of these years. Even if people want to go back, and this is what I tell people about when it comes to slavery. Was it a vicious time in America? Yes. It was a vicious time in the world, right? White people weren't the only people exploiting slaves, right? Africans were exploiting their own people. They were the ones who were catching their own people from different tribes and think they're enemy tribes and stuff like that and selling them to to Europeans and stuff like that. This was a trade all across the world. They want to make it singular to America. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. But this happened 400 years ago. White people, black people fought in the Civil War for this whole situation to come to an end. You had Jim Crow, all of these things that had to eventually come to a halt and get to where we are today in 2025. I don't know about you, but I ain't waking up thinking about the white man doing anything to me, bro. I work with white people. I get along with white people. Half my family white, half my family black. My mom and my dad, my dad black, my mom white. They got along fine. They had 4 kids. We all good. And they had babies in 89. You feel what I'm saying? So, bro, this shit is corny. It's getting old. And I feel white people when they're like, bro, I'd rather them be, honestly, I'd rather white people just be like, you know what, man, fuck it. Listen, dog, I don't give a fuck. I just don't care. I got problems just like you got problems. I just don't give a fuck, bruh. I don't care. You want to keep bringing up slavery and your peoples and how y'all got it. Nigga, listen, you're broke because you don't want to work. That's why you broke, motherfucker. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody that's white. It got to do everything to do with you. You're broke because you was you're a broke man. That's what they should say. But yeah, but facts though, man. Like, yo, bro, that whole racism shit is, bro, the percentages of people that are racist in America is probably like 1%, 2%, or some shit like that. Everybody has prejudice or some type of racism in them because we live in America. We live in America, dog. Like, come on, man. It's just regular. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna lie. It's just out of control, though. They make it, I hate the fact, and I'm going to end it with this, and then we'll go back to the video because I'm getting on topic. We cannot, I hate when people try to compare today to the 50s and the 30s and stuff like that. It's not even close. I'm talking about, it's not nowhere near close. We don't deal with nothing our ancestors dealt with. And I'm talking about, I ain't even talking about during slavery. That's ancestors. I'm just talking about, I'm talking about the 50s, 60s, 40s, and 30s. And people, I talked about this in my last video, bro. It was black. Madam C.J. Walker. I don't know. I be always feeling like I'm saying her name wrong. She was a millionaire, bro. First woman millionaire. Yeah, she was black, but she was the first woman millionaire. And I believe it was in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? Oh, you know what I mean? O.W. Gurley, bro. People was getting a bag during the most racist time in America. You know what I mean? And things happen after that, unfortunately, and stuff like that. They try to erase the history. I get that. But don't try to act like, we don't got it better today. They went through them things so we can have the lifestyle we have today. So stop bitching about it and just do something. Go start a fucking business. Do something productive. You dummy.
Trump warned South Africa a few months ago this will happen. He told their president in the Oval Office, shape up, admit what your country's doing, or you're done. Your relationship with the U.S. will be over.
What will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President.
Look at Trump.
It's for him. No, seriously. I'd rather have him answer. Yeah, I'd rather answer that.
Trump said, I'd rather have him answer it. He rolled his eyes.
Our president will respond to you. Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these 3 gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture.
Look at Trump. You see Trump like this. Trump like, this motherfucker think I'm stupid. He think he talking to a dummy. Boy, y'all out here trying to kill white folks in Africa. And this is what I say, bro. Listen, bro. I came to the conclusion that we've been manipulated, right? Listen, they put drugs in the hood. They did all of these things to black folks. I agree. I'm not acting like I'm naive to history, right? 1994 crime bill, many of different things that affected black communities, factual. We can't argue them things. My thing is this. I've been to prison twice. Been to the county jail 100 times. I done did a bunch of dumb shit. All of that. Been through that. Within 5 years, been home 4 years. I got my shit together. I got my own little shit. Got a podcast going on. I just did some things. I'm good. I ain't bitching though. I don't have a victim mindset. I don't get on here and tell them, oh my God, like the white man held me back. I got like about 6 felonies and I'm still doing better than a lot of people. And I only say that to say, if I had a victim mentality though, I wouldn't be where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing regular. I'm not doing nothing special. These people, and I say all that to say this, these people are trying to basically, they're mad that they were probably outsmarted for their land in Africa by some white Africans or whoever, and now they're mad about it. Years later, people done hyped them all up. Yeah, we need to take our land back. They took our land. It's too late, bruh. It's too late. And on top, this is why I tell people too, bro, back in those times, like when people talk about, the Native Americans and how Christopher Columbus or whoever it was came and started, basically extorting the Native Americans for their land over here and all that stuff, right? Bro, that's the way the world worked in those times. I'm able to just see it for that. In those times, bro, it was a kill or be killed type of environment in the world. People were trying to conquer lands, new lands, get resources, all types of stuff. And that's just the way it was, unfortunately. But don't try to act like black people wasn't involved with this shit too. So he can sit up there and act like his people has been extorted by white folks and all of that. But I guarantee you, you go back in the day, in these times when things were happening, it was black people involved too, basically fucking giving up their own people, helping is what I'm saying. So, bro, everybody plays a part in all of this goofy shit that's going on.
Would not be with me.
Trump
So
ain't
it'll take
trying to hear
him,
none of that
President
shit.
Trump listening to their stories,
listen to you?
to their perspective.
Pussy, I
That
give
is
you
the answer to
500
your
million
question.
a year. I don't need to
But
listen to
Mr.
shit you're
President,
talking
I must
about.
say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it.
Wait.
We have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here? Somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and I would.
Marianne, subscribe to the channel. Thank you, baby girl.
It has to be responded to.
Thank you, Auntie.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down.
Look, this is what you do, and this is why I fuck with Trump. He just said all of that dumb shit. Trump like, yeah, okay. Yo, turn the light down. Yeah, play that video for me.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you.
Look at him trying to smile.
There's nothing
you don't need to play this. You don't need to play this, my man.
You, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president.
Look at his face. He said, "Oh, you're going to play this video, huh? You're going to go there." Trump like, chill, relax. I got you. You just said all that dumb shit. I got you.
From no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. We don't ever want to do. We can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament. Honorable. Yes, honorable member. Never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. No
whether they like it or not, if they object, they can seek refugee in America.
You heard him? If they don't like it, if they ain't gonna take what we bringing to the table, they can seek refugee in America. So, and now listen, bro. Why they didn't, my thing is this. When these things was going on, why they wasn't doing nothing about it then? They waited till generations later to basically try to commit a genocide against a generation of people that had nothing to do with anything that they might be even talking about. It's just like slavery here in America, that happened here in America. Bro, none of you, not your dad, not your grandma, we can't talk like we can, grandma might be able to tell you about racism, But as far as slavery, bro, we don't even know. We seen movies, we seen what it was portrayed to be like. We don't know. We wasn't there. People be trying to act like, bro, you're broke because you're broke. Simple. You're in prison because you're in prison because you did a crime, goofy. Like, it's just simple. Life is pretty simple. It could be hard at times, but life is pretty simple, bro. You wake up, you go hard, you chase your dreams, and you get to it, period. You know what I mean? Stop waiting for the white man to give you some type of handout that's supposedly going to help you when it's not going to happen, my guy. Let's get back to this. Look at this nigga face.
This is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000.
Yo, why he looking like he don't know what this doing is? He looking like, oh, I've never seen this before. Yo, these niggas crazy.
They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses.
That was a few months ago. Mainstream media at the time, if you recall, they denied this was happening. They laughed about it, laughed that white people could possibly be persecuted in this world, in South Africa, even though there's so much evidence that people have been killed over there for simply being white. If you're white and you own land in that country, you have a target on your back.
Whether you live on a farm or whether you live in the suburbs. In 2011, they brutally and savagely murdered my wife's grandfather. They did not ask where he was born. He was born in Austria. However, when they saw the color of his skin, they did not ask where he was from. They savagely tortured him, strangled him, burnt him, and then murdered him. Before they did this, they also raped his wife in front of him to death. Yes, several men raped her to death. So living in South Africa is not for the faint-hearted.
One of the major political parties over there, the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters, it's this radical populist party in South Africa, and they say it out loud all the time. They talk about it. The party, they advocate for policies like land confiscation against white farmers. The government just takes private land. They double social grants, even expropriate private property without compensation. There's case after case of this. Here's the founder of the EFF admitting during an interview last year, even saying, we may call for the killing of whites in the future in South Africa. We haven't done so yet, but we may. Watch.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we've not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter. They freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies. Cry babies.
I'm not calling for the slaughter of white people.
Yo, bro, I don't know if you're trying to sell me something, but I never heard of it. I'm good off it. If you're trying to sell me something, I'm good.
At least for now.
I can't give a guarantee of the future, especially when things are going the way they are.
Subtext.
Especially if things are going the way they are.
Thank you, baby.
There will be a revolution in this country, I can tell you now.
Why?
Yeah, bro, listen, bro. And we're going to move on to the next story. Yo, I don't agree with this stuff, man. Now, people will sit there and be like, well, they did it to us. Now they don't like that we're doing it to them. It's like, come on, bro. Sheesh, bro. This shit out of control. It's like, yo, I know about history, bro. And listen, I'm not a fool to things that have went on in America. And this is why I tell people too about, listen, I'm Muslim. The way Islam is portrayed here in America, it isn't the truth. So I don't hold people accountable for things they don't know. They see what they see what they're told to see. And, and they're, told to believe what they want you to believe. You know, so I know it ain't the truth, but that's what they want you to know. That's the propaganda that they push. So, you'll see more, you'll see. Never mind. I'm about to get on some other shit. But yo, this dude, them dudes ain't playing, man. If I was, I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do what they're gonna do. It might start a little war out there, to be honest with you. If they do start, I don't think they're gonna do it though, because they know at the end of the day, America's gonna get involved, and whenever America is gonna get involved in anything that got to do with bombs flying, people ain't gonna make them type of moves. But they've been doing shit over there, and Trump basically took the bag from them. So we'll see what happens with that situation. But it doesn't make it right, man. We need to get past all this. God damn, this shit be getting out of control. It's like all you hear is just death. God damn, just so much death. Anyway, let's get on to this Fani Willis story. What's happening with Brian Maxwell? Shout out to him.
The wins keep coming, Patriots. The wins keep coming. The wins keep coming. We got another one. That Georgia case with Fani Willis, who was sleeping with her prosecuting attorney, her RICO specialist, who had never prosecuted a RICO case, Nathan Hot Dog Wade, as my man Greg Foreman, Black Conservative Perspective, would say. Now, this entire case has been dismissed, thrown out. And in this video, I'm going to let you hear and see exactly what's going on. And this has been a horrible month. This might be the worst month that the Democrat Party has probably ever had. And if they ever had a month like this, it happened before I was born over 47 years ago, because they keep taking L after L. Every single thing that they propagandized that they were going to get Trump on have failed miserably. Why? Because it came from a negative place of lawfare and retribution and hatred. And
it wasn't true. It wasn't true. So, like, that's another thing. Like, yo, if Trump was guilty of all of these things that they claimed that he was, Trump would be in jail, bro. It's just a fact. Like, come on, man. This is what I said about the whole Epstein thing. They had it for 4 years. It's just common sense. Even talking about it is annoying at this point. If they had anything on the Epstein files about Trump, whether they wanted it to come out or not, I'm talking about like certain names and other people in it, they would have made sure Trump name came out in them files, bro. It's just what it is. These people did everything they could to stop Trump, and now they're just gonna. And that's like I keep saying, it's the scary part, because now they're gonna come up with new ways. They're gonna try to do any and everything to come at this dude. But hey, man, he's been resilient thus far.
It's falling apart. So as you see right here, Georgia prosecutor kills the historic election interference case against Trump and allies. And I'm going to get into these clips of Fani Willis and what the White House has to say. I'm going to read just a little bit of this. A Georgia prosecutor on Wednesday officially dropped the historic racketeering case against President Donald Trump and others for attempting, allegedly, to overturn the 2020 presidential election, closing the chapter in a legal effort once seen as a grave threat to Trump's political future. The move means that Trump has dodged criminal legal jeopardy for his attempts to overturn his 2020 election loss to President Joe Biden. The federal cases against Trump from special counsel Jack Smith on election interference leading up to the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol riot and on mishandling classified documents case was previously dropped. Given the
Hey, yo, Marianne, that I be saying that all the time. Projection. That's one of their biggest tactics that they use is projection. I say that all the time, bro, because you see it. You see it in the things they do. The everything that they say is things that they're doing. The things that they accuse Trump of, they be doing. Like, they want control, power forever. That's why they wanted 20 million illegal immigrants in the country to win the elections. That's why they did it. It wasn't because they love immigrants. Like, what? No, they knew that people were waking up to the bullshit. Things weren't affordable. They needed a backup plan in case things didn't go right. But it still didn't work. People still and it didn't work because Trump was on point this past election. He made sure that people were at these, were making sure these think about it. You really didn't see too much as far as like some type of fraud activity and stuff like that, like you did in 2020. Like, it was a lot of things that happened in 2020. That's the reason why he says that it was stolen. You know what I mean? Like, people went to sleep and woke up and people miraculously just had all these votes and stuff like that. And so, it definitely was some fraud going on. But I think Trump was the reason why that didn't happen this time. But yeah, projection is a
complexity
fact.
of the legal issues at hand,
biggest
ranging
tools.
from constitutional questions and the supremacy clause to immunity, jurisdiction, venue, speedy trial concerns, and access to federal records. And even assuming each of these issues were resolved in the state's favor, bringing this case before a jury in 2029, 2030, or even 2031 will be nothing short of a remarkable feat. Peter Skandalakis, the prosecutor on the case, wrote Wednesday, you know what it really means, what they're saying right there? It was a bullcrap case. It never should have been brought. And he wrote a 20-page explanation on why he decided not to prosecute it.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about that because it said the Georgia prosecutor on Wednesday officially dropped the historical racketeering case. So I'm thinking in my mind, like, so they didn't even go through with it because it's a bullshit case.
And I chose CNN on purpose as the reference source. Everybody's writing about it. I chose them. The reason why I chose these left-wing outlets for some of these clips and for this is that it is bad when they can't even spin it. Now, I noticed how they put that one line in there where it said, Trump dodged criminal legal jeopardy for his attempts to overturn his 2020 election law. And let me explain something that y'all already know. Every single politician has a right to challenge or contest the results of an election. Remember, Al Gore did it in 2000. Matter of fact, every single time the Democrats lose, guess what they do? Say it was stolen. Hillary Clinton, right after she lost, she was saying that, Trump, they called Trump illegitimate. Everybody was saying that it was illegitimate and Russia helped him win and yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
But when anybody would even remotely whisper that the 2020 was shady, when we saw people pulling suitcases out from under tables.
This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table.
That's crazy. Look at that. Look. Yo, bro, see? So when people be saying Donald Trump is tripping, he didn't accept the 2020, it's because they seen this information. I didn't even ever see this. This is crazy. Yo, they literally was pulling suitcases out. Wow. Bro, these people wicked, bro. Wicked. But we all knew that, though. We all knew that they stole the election, bro, in 2020. And this is why in this election, Trump was on point. He made sure that the shit was locked up. And that's why, think about it, though. You got the results of this. When Trump won, you got the results immediately. And it might have been more towards the fact that Kamala didn't win shit. But you got the results ASAP that night at like 9 or something like that, 10.
Yeah, upper right hand. You see the gentleman in the red.
Yo,
so he just pulled one out.
That's crazy. Oh, shit. So over here on the left in the top right, she just pulled one out. And then the guy in the red pulled one out. Yo, that's crazy.
So what are these ballots doing there separate from all the other ballots?
Wow.
And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses?
Wow.
Is the question.
We got caught.
So these machines can process about 3,000 ballots an hour. You have multiple machines there, and they're there for 2 hours. So you do the math. How many ballots went through those machines in those 2 hours when there was no one there to supervise, to be present, consistent with your statutes and rules, to supervise the tabulation?
Wow.
We believe
drop boxes was being overloaded on video.
That's crazy. Look at this. Hold up. I'm in the way. That's crazy. Yo, this how wicked they is, bro. This is crazy. I heard
Joe
about this stuff.
Biden
I haven't
jumps
seen
up
it.
hundreds of thousands of votes
Overnight.
between 4 a.m. and like 7 a.m., which is completely irregular to take the lead and ultimately win. If we question that based off what we saw, oh, you're an election.
Yeah, because look, if you think about it, right? They said between like 3 a.m. Everybody sleep. Everybody sleep. Between 3 a.m. and like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. in the morning, he got like massive amounts of votes, which wouldn't make sense if you think about it. It wouldn't make sense. Who would be? I don't even think they're open. Yeah, it's not even open for you to even drop ballots. Unless, what is it, being counted that late? I don't know how it works. I could be wrong. But it sounds crazy though. Yeah, super shady, bro. Now look, I heard about this stuff, but I haven't seen actual footage. Yo, the one with them taking the shit from under the table is crazy. Is Ruby Friedman? Yeah, it probably is.
Denier, and that's a bad thing.
That's crazy.
These folks are hypocrites. Now, I want to play, matter of fact, before I get into this clip, I want you to remember something.
They out of control.
This is Fani Willis. Remember when she said this?
Because they deserve a DA that won't have sex with his employees. Because they deserve a DA that won't put money in their own pocket when it should go to benefit children. Because we deserve better.
Now, this is that same DA who allegedly had a whistleblower within their team that exposed the fact that federal grants that came in there that was supposed to open up this place for a rec center for young boys. No, they bought swag with it and laptop computers and ended up firing the lady. Oh, no. And then you heard the part she said about not wanting to sleep with the employees. When this whole thing was started, the debacle going downhill in a case that should have never been brought anyway, she decided that she was going to bring her boyfriend onto the case, lie about it. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation.
Yo, you was right too that it was Ruby Friedman.
That like button is more than enough. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe and make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. YouTube has issues with notifications, but when you select all, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. Pay him $1 million for a RICO prosecution that he had never done. She passed over much more experienced RICO prosecutors within that county to go with Nathan Wade, paid him $1 million and was traveling all of these exotic places and living it up. But she won't put the money in her pocket and she won't sleep with the employees like the previous person did. Yeah. She reneged on both of those. Now, remember this too. After she had been exposed and they was dismissing the case, she did what all Democrats, especially a black Democrat woman, does. And after this one, we're going to get into the explosion where you're going to hear. And
she went to church.
Watch these Democrats cope on television in real time. But remember this? Listen to this.
She went to church.
Lord, now I want to be clear. All three of these special counselors are superstars. But I'm just asking God, is it that some will never see a black man as qualified, no matter his achievements? What more can one achieve? The other two have never been judges, but no one questions their credentials. I'm just saying.
Now she's in the house of God, saying, Lord, acting like she's making a prayer, like God is going to give a crap about her talking, using her racist propaganda. And the fact that these folks let that woman get on the pulpit and spew her propaganda is shame on them. Now let's get into the real deal. Check out this story about this case, which never should have been brought and how it fell apart. Check this out.
Georgia, we're getting more information. The state judge involved in this case, Scott McAfee, has now granted a prosecutor's request to drop that 2020 Georgia election interference case, meaning it is now dismissed. President Trump and key allies face charges after a phone call of President Trump pressuring Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to turn the election in Trump's favor. Once that came to light, it kicked off the investigation, ultimately led to this big RICO case. Joining us now is MS Now senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin.
And he never said, flip this election. That never happened. And that's why I chose BS Now, which is formerly MSDNC. I chose them on purpose because watching them cope and try to spin it is enjoyable just for a minute. And then we're going to get to the better clips. But that's why I chose this left-wing outlet so we can see and hear them cope.
But see, you also got to remember, too, that a lot of them know that Trump eventually will win these cases and they know it's bogus. Like the Russia hoax, the Fine People hoax, they know it's a lie. They know eventually people will figure out that it's a lie, but they don't care. They just needed to do damage then and there. You know what I mean? They just need to put this in people's heads, make them think it's true. And by the time people find out that it's not true, they don't even care about it no more. So this is what I mean by these people aren't dumb. They're smart. And so, you know, you got to be a different type of person. And it's how you know Trump is definitely different. Because all the things that this guy has been through, been shot at, you know, been accused of so much, the 34 fake felonies and just a lot, you know, and the impeachments and stuff. To endure the things that he did, you got to be a different type of dude, bro.
With their TDS, and they keep getting their butts whooped. Check this out.
You obviously covered this case extensively. Here we are. It's over.
It is. And, you know, I will tell you, Anna, that off the record, people involved in this case predicted that this was exactly the end that this case would meet. I was doubtful of that. But I think given all of the time that has elapsed between the active prosecution in the case, the fact that President Trump has been restored to the presidency, his efforts to pardon people involved in the core events at the heart of this case, despite the fact that he's not authorized to issue state pardons, all of those factors sort of led folks to believe that the day that we have now reached would come. Of course, we now have a 20-plus page explanation from Peter Skandalakis, who was the head of that prosecutor's council that was tasked with finding another prosecutor to take over this case in the wake of Fani Willis's disqualification. You'll remember Mr. Skandalakis assigned that role to himself and now has undertaken to explain to folks in a 20-page analysis why it is that he is making this decision.
Have you had a chance?
You know, it's because he couldn't find anybody that was willing to take that case on when they looked at it. Even him himself looked at that and said, oh, my God. Number one, it should have never been brought at the state level. It's a federal case. This case should have never been brought at all. Again, it is perfectly legal, and he is well within his rights to contest, challenge, or try to find additional votes if they're available. In every election, every team does it. But since it's Donald Trump, they wanted to flip the script. While we celebrate another victory for America and for President Trump, I want to take time to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and act like it was something oh so new, has never been done again, while they're now running around talking about how the midterms are rigged and we ain't even got there yet. The same people that said, oh, if you deny elections, you're anti-America, blah, blah, blah. They're already setting the stage for when they lose in the midterms, which will only be the fourth time in U.S. history that the person that won the presidency maintains the House and the Senate after, you know, when the first midterm elections come up. It's only happened 3 times before, and that's for Republicans and Democrats. This will be the 4th, and they're setting the stage for it.
And to look at what his explanation is yet?
Yeah, this is why they're doing a lot of things that they're doing now, is because they need the doubt out there. They need you to focus on the unaffordability, even though they caused the unaffordability, right? For you, they caused a lot of the things that are going on in America. So what they're doing is they're trying to create chaos in every, you know, way they can, everywhere they can, to try to get Donald Trump to not focus on the important tasks at hand. You know what I mean? And this is why I really think Trump, and I hope they do, kill the filibuster, because that's how he's going to be able to get his agenda across without having to worry about the bullshit. I don't know if they're trying to wait on this or if they're just going to wait and see if they win in the midterms or what the tactic is. But he seemed very serious about it. And when I read more into what, you know, the filibuster and what it's about and all of that, I'm like, shit, that's the best thing that he could do, because they were going to do it. So why not? That, for me, that would be all I need. You know, y'all trying to challenge every single thing that I'm doing. You know, even though he's winning on these on pretty much every issue, it's just the fact that he even has to deal with these things. If you don't have to deal with it by killing the filibuster, kill it. So what? Because you know, no matter what, bro, no matter what, elections are going to be possibly stolen if we don't get voter ID as a requirement. You know, and I think if you kill the filibuster, you can get that across too. You get all of these things across by not needing the Democrats, bro. Period. And they're going to do it. If they win, they're going to do it for sure.
I mean, I think part of it is that in the interest of justice, he is saying, given the time that has elapsed and to promote finality, he thinks that this is the right recourse here. And with respect to finality, let me underscore what I think he means by that. Donald Trump is in office again. He cannot be prosecuted for actions that were taken in an official capacity under the Supreme Court's presidential immunity decision. Mr. Skandalakis may have concluded that in order for this case to move forward, it would have to wait for Donald Trump, at least as against Donald Trump, it would have to wait for him to leave office. On the other hand, if it proceeded against other defendants while he is sort of immune from prosecution, then the question becomes, is that fair to him in absentia as a defendant who is ineligible to be tried, to have these decisions made without him in ways that could color a future jury pool, for example, or even color future judges ruling on things like evidentiary matters. So I think that the finality aspect of it was important to Mr. Skandalakis. I have not been able to go through this in exhaustive detail, but trust me, I will. Today,
If you notice, she said, well, let me tell you what I think he means. And all of that crap she just said was her interpretation. At the end of the day, what the man actually said, what happened of it, was that when they did this, remember this picture? This was from Fulton County, Fani Willis. That's how we got that picture. That was her that brought that Trump now hangs up inside of the White House. And here's the actual notification from the judge. It says, comes now the state by and through Peter J. Skandalakis, district attorney pro tempore. And after a thorough examination of the case file, consideration of applicable statutory and case law, and prior to submission to a jury, the state hereby moves for entry of a nolle prosequi for the following reason: to serve the interests of justice and promote judicial finality. For all remaining defendants, this disposition meets the criteria for the Georgia Crime Information Center to restrict access to the criminal history for this arrest pursuant, which means that all of this gets wiped off their slate. Even though they went through years of having to get attorneys and spend money for it to be dismissed, it never should have even been brought. And they know that. And
they know that. Exactly what I just said, bro. They know that. They know it shouldn't have been brought. They know it's bullshit. They don't care. They just want the perception to be out there, because what they care about is these elections. That's all they care about. Think about it. You know, they can talk all of this, you know, like Barack Obama. He can talk all of this. We need change. And he's talking to the black people. He wants your vote. He needs your vote. You know, he talk all of this hope and change, and had everybody gassed up thinking, oh, shit, we about to get a black president. Things is going to change for us, like, and nothing changes. And then a reporter, I showed it on one of my previous videos a while ago. You know, I did a little segment on Barack, and he said, a reporter, I forget his name, asked him, you know, why don't you do something specifically, you know, for black people? And he said, that's not how America works. When it come to black folks, boy, it's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, bro, these people are a joke, bro. They don't. That's why I say, bro, I see so many people fight for the Democratic Party. Like, they just really, like me, I could care less whether a person is Democrat or Republican. I care about if they really going to do things that align with my values or the things I care about. You know, like if you're talking, like when you hear Kamala Harris talking about raising your taxes and raising corporate taxes and all of this. Taxes, when I hear taxes in general, I ain't voting for you. I'm going to be honest with you.
See, what the Democrats have been doing, they've been pushing this notion that, oh, there's a civil war in MAGA, and MAGA split. No, it is not. Just yesterday, on Tuesday, they did a report, and they had to give it up. My man on CNN, NTN, or whatever his name is, President Trump is at an 87% approval rating with the MAGA base.
So look, it's so funny that he played this. It's kind of a little off topic, but on this though. But I seen a guy. He was lying, of course, to his little chat or whatever, and he was talking about Trump's approval rating is 38%. And I didn't know whether he was telling. I knew he was lying because I be seeing fuck is his name? I forget his name. He be on CNN, but he always doing the polls and stuff. And the polls be seeming like he's, you know, even though it's on CNN, you know, they be in Trump's favor. On CNN, too, at that. So, I know he was lying, but just looking at this, you can, 87%. That's more than Bush and Obama. And Obama, everybody voted for that.
6 months ago,
everybody loved Obama.
It was at 87%. He has not dropped support at all. And CNN usually underreport President Trump's numbers. So it might be as high as 91 or 92%. And then on foreign policy, they love to have their Obama. President Trump is crushing Obama when it comes to President Trump's foreign policy approval. He's at 43%. Obama was only at 37. Bush was at 36. So when they're saying MAGA falling apart and people feeling off, they only say that so people like you and I would hear that and say, oh my God, and lose faith in it, as if we're going to jump ship and go to the Democrats. And I've said this before, anybody that can say that they're willing to go and support Democrat causes after President Trump being in office only 10 months, they were never MAGA to begin with. Now, let's check out this CNN report on what's going on, and then we're going to follow it up. I had to go through another left propagandist because, again, they can't spin this. And on this one, they're even more revealing. And I loved how they keep trying to hide behind this whole presidential immunity, which didn't even come down till within the last few months. The fact of the matter is the case was weak because you and I both know when Mr. Scandalakis took it over, there's another Democrat left-wing radical that would have loved to make their claim to fame by sticking it to Trump. But when they looked at this and said, oh, my goodness, and the fact that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade were meeting with the White House, literally meeting with Kamala Harris prior to even bringing these charges, means that there's something nefarious that was going on. They were meeting with the January the 6th committee prior to bringing these charges. And then, coincidentally, all the evidence of the January 6th committee just comes up missing. They don't have it anymore. And then Fani Willis has been stonewalling the Supreme Court and Justice who has subpoenaed the information, call logs, travel records in detail. She refuses to give it up. But now I don't believe she has a choice. She either has to give it up or she may be facing contempt of court. But check out what CNN has to say.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We are following breaking news just into CNN. A Georgia prosecutor officially dropped the historic racketeering case against President Trump and others for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. I want to go right to CNN's Kara Scannell. What are you learning, Kara?
Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this new filing in from the prosecutor who had taken the place to look into the Fulton County investigation of Donald Trump and others has filed a motion with the court saying that they are not going to move forward with the case. They're dropping the charges. What he filed what's known as a nolle pros, and that means that in theory, because if the statute of limitations hasn't run out, a case could be refiled. But he attached to his filing about a 20-page statement explaining his rationales for why he did not think that they should move forward with this case. You'll remember this was the case that began with Donald Trump making a call to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find the votes. And then District Attorney Fani Willis brought this historic investigation and filed those racketeering charges against Donald Trump and dozens of others for interfering with the 2020 election. She was then disqualified from the case because of an undisclosed romantic relationship with another prosecutor. And that is how this case now fell into the hands earlier this month of a prosecutor who was assigned the job of trying to find someone to take on this case. He said that he couldn't because there were...
Hey, yo, real quick, off topic a little bit. I hate the fact that it ain't too much black representation in the government already. There's some in there, but a lot of it is corrupt, bro, for real. Especially these black women, though. They be corrupt as shit, bro. They always stealing. These black bitches always stealing, dog. They be stealing up in that motherfucker.
Too many conflicts, and he took it on himself. Now we're seeing the results of that, and that is that he is saying that they are not going to move forward with this case. And he summarized it in part by saying that he made this decision by examining the case file, examining what the jury had been presented, and also considerations of the law. He says that contesting an election is not unlawful, but
order on President Trump and not on everybody else. Then we find out that Judge Marchand's daughter was like a big fundraiser for Adam Schiff. She raised millions of dollars for the Biden administration and for Adam Schiff. And this was Juan Marchand's daughter. That was in that hush money case. It's insane. But so I believe he's going to win that one on appeal. Now let's check out what Newsmax has to say, because folks, this is...
Remember I said that though, that when it comes to these cases, I've seen people in real life lose trial. A lot of times they'll lose. I had to put it like this. This is how wicked the system is, to like, for real. I had a good public defender one time. She was official. She was probably better than a lot of lawyers, like paid lawyers. She was super official. She really fought for me in my case. got me a decent deal, whatever the case may be, the first time I went down prison. And she told me one time we had a hearing, and she said, and it stuck with me. Always stuck with me. She said, "Listen, we was about to go in there for this motion. Matter of fact, it was a motion to dismiss this video they had on me. At the time I was under the influence when they interrogated me, and I had a strong case against them throwing this video out." She told me before we went in there, she said, "Listen, we're going to lose." So we ain't even going here yet, and she already pissing me off. But she was like, "Look, I'm not saying we're not going to lose." How she was official. She said, "I'm not telling you we're going to lose because you don't have a case or we don't have a good argument. I'm telling you we're going to lose because," she said exactly this verbatim, "the judge rather face the jury in trial than to say that the police didn't do their job right." So basically, because the police did something wrong, the judge will rule in their favor because they don't want to admit that they did something wrong. They rather make you face the jury in trial. Plus, most people that take things to trial, they're taking a big gamble. That's how their conviction rate is so high, because people, you'll get more time if you go to trial and lose. So people don't be trying to take them chances. So anyway, but I had a really good, we went in there. I really thought I was going to beat that motion too, because it was some other shit. I'm not even going to get into it, but when she told me that, though, opened my eyes to the judicial system, like how it operates a little bit. And that's kind of like, this kind of reminds me a little bit like, people think he's losing these cases, but he's not, in a sense, because he knows that it's going to go on appeals. And for some reason, the appeal process is way more, how can I say, like, thorough, if that makes sense. Like, when it goes to the appeal process and it goes to these appellate courts and stuff, it's way more thorough. They actually go through the evidence. If it's not, if it's lacking evidence or whatever the case may be, they always overturn it, bro. I've seen so many people. I don't know. It's a crazy process, though. It's crazy, but I've seen that a lot. So it's not
great
shocking.
Day. My cat is going nuts over here. The fact of the matter is that they tried it. They utilized lawfare to the fullest extent. But the one thing they didn't bank on is our resilience as Americans and our ability to be able to see through it and support President Trump. Our energy that we sent out, on top of the fact that he has some phenomenal lawyers, help make this what it is. And their Trump derangement caused them to break the law and do things that was so unethical that when anybody that wasn't in on the plan or the scheme looks at it, they're afraid to be anywhere near it. Matter of fact, they rather dismiss it than to even try to push it and pursue it, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle with all the wrong pieces. And you're trying to make it fit, but they knew what wrong pieces they were trying to make it fit and make it seem like it was this cohesive thing. Anybody else stepping in, now that Kamala's gone, Biden is gone, she's removed from her position of authority over the case, it looked like crap. And again, he wanted to get as far away from it as he possibly could. Now let's check out this Newsmax clips. Check this out.
For more on this breaking story, we're going to head out to Washington, where White House correspondent Mike Carter is standing by. Mike.
Yeah, good afternoon. Big day here at the White House, even with President Trump taking some Thanksgiving holiday time down in Florida. A Georgia judge today officially dismissing the historic racketeering charges against President Trump and others for trying to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. At least that's what he was accused of. Of course, this investigation began shortly after a January 2021 phone call became public in which Trump had asked Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger of Georgia to find the votes necessary for him to win Georgia in the 2020 election. Racketeering charges were filed in August of 2023 by Fulton County DA Fani Willis, who, of course, launched a lengthy investigation into President Trump's alleged interference in the election, resulting in maybe one of the most famous, if not the most famous, mugshot of all time when Trump was officially charged in the Georgia case. Willis, of course, was eventually forced to drop the case after questions were raised about her authority to pursue charges and regarding a romantic relationship with one of the lawyers on the case, the lead prosecutor, Nathan Willis. Wade. In a statement today, Georgia prosecutor Peter Scandelakis, who moved to dismiss the case in its entirety, writing, given the complexity
that nigga look like John Sally, right?
of the legal issues at hand, ranging from constitutional questions and the supremacy clause to immunity, jurisdiction, venue, speedy trial concerns, and access to federal records, and even assuming each of these issues were resolved in the state's favor, bringing this case before a jury in 2029, 2030, or even 2031 would be nothing short of a remarkable feat. Well, today, Steve Sato, Trump's lead attorney in that case, giving a statement which reads, the political persecution of President Trump by disqualified DA Fani Willis is finally over. We're still waiting to hear from President Trump. I'm sure we will on Truth Social later today regarding the dismissal of these Georgia charges. Back to you.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Brian Maxwell, man. Always giving the latest and the greatest. You feel me? Yeah, nah, he dope, man. Make sure y'all go tap in with him if y'all not tapped in. But yeah, man, there's a lot going on, bro. But Trump keeps smacking these cases, bro. He keeps smacking them. But like I said, they know ultimately Trump. They listen. They hoping, they shoot and they hoping some stick, some hit. You know what I mean? And that's about it. They know a lot of these cases. That's why most people. I've seen Tim Pool have I forget his name, but he's one of them Democrat dudes that go on like Piers Morgan and whatnot. And Tim Pool had him on there. Tim Pool was crushing this dude. Forget his name. I ain't gonna try to look it up. I forget his name. I see him all the time. You know, he get on there always talking. They just say the same talking points. There's no facts behind nothing. And Tim Pool was killing this dude, talking about the 34 felonies. And he's just basically like, what is the 34 felonies? And he's like, well, I don't have the case in front of me, and I don't want to, he's just like, listen, if you're going to make, statements about something, someone, at least back it up with facts, period. And most of these people that talk about these things, that's why they hate, that's why they only love going on these legacy media networks, because they know they're not going to push back. Majority of the time, they just started pushing back a little bit on these things that have been going on this past couple of weeks. But outside of that, they don't push back on these people. They let them spew a bunch of bullshit on the network, and that's it. Because that's what they're getting paid to do. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why they don't want to go on. You'll see Gavin Newsom, slick faggot ass, talking about going on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan, is scared to have him on, and he doesn't want to have a serious conversation. No, Joe Rogan just doesn't want you on because you're a joke. But he doesn't really want to go on Joe Rogan. They don't really want to go on these platforms. That's why Kamala didn't go on Joe Rogan, because they don't want to push back. They don't want people to expose the truth. They want to go on any network that's not going to put. Look at the chick in California that was running for governor, snapping because she was getting pushed back on some questions. I'm not going to get 7 questions to her. Like, bitch, who is you? You trying to run? You want people to vote for you, and I'm asking you questions. So, hey, man, Democratic Party is just out of control today. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. People need to wake up. That's why I'm on here. That's why I'm exposing this shit. That's why I'm putting it out there. Thanks to, people like RJ Talks, Brian Maxwell, Barry Cunningham, people I tap into, get videos from Officer Tatum, Anton Daniels. I play a little bit of everybody on my joint, man. LV Nation, Cartier family. Shout out to all of them. Make sure y'all go tap in with them. That's my sources. That's the people I get my information from. But anyway, man, if you fuck with the show, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button, comment down below if you disagree, agree. Thank you, Marianne Barlin, for tapping in with your boy. Thanks for the subscribe. I truly, truly do appreciate it. Thanks for everybody that was tapping in with me the whole time. Also, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Hit all, so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. Until next time, I'm out. Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna use again.